Hi, I'm Terry Street. With my husband, Tom, and my daughter, Tierre, we run Shepherd's Hill Farm in North Florida. We live on a farm where we can raise our own food. When I got sick about 30 years ago, the doctor suggested that we buy our own animals and raise our own meat to see if I was allergic to the animals or allergic to the food that the animal was being fed. So we got chickens, and in the process of raising them without regular food that others were feeding the animals, I found I was not getting ill from eating the meat that we raised on our own farm.
We feed our chickens organic feed, but it just doesn't stop there. We raise them also out on the pasture, moving them to fresh pasture every single day.
We would raise our food organically, but we ask our customers what they would prefer, because for my workers to pour a 50-pound bag of feed into a trough or something like that, it's no harder to pour a 50-pound bag of feed that's non-organic. It's not any different as far as work goes. And they said they would prefer organic, so we said, okay, well that settles the issue.
We have a worker, Steve, that is responsible every day. That's his job, to move the pens every day.
It's a dual purpose. We keep them on fresh ground, and it also fertilizes the ground. So if you keep them too long at one place, you're going to burn the grass. So you move them so that the grass is fertilized and not burnt.
For the last few years, we've been raising chicken for meat for us and for a few other people. We can order the chicks through the hatchery. They will send them out the day that they hatch. They come packaged in a cardboard box and shipped by mail. The day they arrive at the post office, we get a phone call early in the morning saying the chicks have arrived, and we will go to the post office, pick up the box of chicks, and bring them home. After we bring them home, we put them to a building that we have designated for raising babies, chicks in.
We had to have a place to raise them when they were little chicks. We start off in the garage, putting plastic on the floor with wood chips, and that was a mess after a while. And then we put them in we had a utility shed that we call our brooder house.
In the brooder house, we have 3 rooms in there for different age chicks and for different batches. First batch we'll offload, bring them in, put them on the bedding for them. They have their feed there. We have water there for them. They will live there with heat lamps at night in the summertime, heat lamps during the day and night in the wintertime. We can keep them there in that building for 2 to 3 weeks. Then we will collect up these birds and we will take them out to pasture. When we bring them out to pasture, we'll divide them up so that we have 20 to 25 chicks to each pen. Every day that pen is moved to a different patch of grass. Their water is scrubbed clean every day, and they are given fresh food every day. When the chicks have reached full maturity, which is about 8 weeks old, Tom gets up about 6 in the morning, goes out about daybreak and picks up the chickens out of the hoop houses. He will load these chickens up and put them into a cattle trailer and brings them up to the facility where we process chickens for the day. And that is his job to do on the day that we are processing chickens. We have a building that we process these chickens in. That day of processing, we go through the building, we clean the floors, we clean the tables, we clean the knives, we clean all the equipment. We clean the sinks that we're going to be using and all the tubs that we're going to be using, all with soap and water. Everything is scrubbed down for that day. After the chickens are harvested, they go into a scalder, which is water that is 145 degrees. The table in the scalder flips the birds in the water, dunks them in and out for about a minute. After that is done, we remove those birds from the scalder, put them in a plucker, which has a turntable in the bottom of it with a bunch of rubber fingers all the way around it, and the turntable flips the birds until all of those feathers are removed. After the bird is plucked, then it is sent through a window into the next room, dropped on a table where we take that chicken, we cut the feet off, we cut off the head, and we will eviscerate, which means we will remove all the insides of that chicken. From that table, after that is done, we'll separate all the parts into hearts, gizzards, liver, and remove and separate what is to be eaten and what is to be discarded. From there, they'll go to a sink where we will hose them off with running cold water and rinse everything off as we can, and then put them into a barrel where the water is kept running at 72 degrees in the barrel, and the birds can soak in that water. When the birds go into the next room, these birds have been soaking for at least an hour. We don't have any blood left on them, they're clean, and we've got them ready for packaging now. Some of these birds we will cut up into parts and package for parts. When we cut these chickens up into parts, by parts we mean that we package legs into a package. We put 4 legs to a package, which would be 2 chickens worth of legs. We put 4 thighs to a package, which would be equivalent to 2 chickens' thighs. Each one of these bags would go to the vacuum sealer, which we enjoy using. It's easy. The bird is vacuum sealed so nice and tight. From there, we take these chickens and their parts, and we take them and put them into a walk-in cooler so that the birds can chill down for 24 to 48 hours. After that, the birds will be put into a freezer, a walk-in freezer, where we freeze them until they are sold, and we will sell them and deliver them, or people will come to the farm and pick them up, or we will put them on our own table.
For me, one of the most satisfying things is when you take these products to the people, and they tell you, says, my son, this is all the meat he can eat.
Just for the customer base to be satisfied with what they have, to hear their testimonies, to hear that some of them are vegetarian because they don't have meat that they can eat.
The most satisfying is satisfying the customer, being able to supply them with the food that they cannot find anyplace else, because very few farmers raise corn and soy-free organic chicken.
They're really grateful that our chickens are all that they can eat. People say that our chickens are the best that they've ever had, or things like that. To me, that's rewarding.
When they have searched high and low for a meat that they can eat, and finally they have found something that they can eat, that is such a blessing.
That's gratifying to be able to supply to people that can't find, because that was my problem. Not being able to find any source of meat that I could eat without being sick. To be able to supply for other people that have the same problem, or they break out with skin rashes, or they have eczema that pops out, or they're just bedridden from eating meat that they get at the store. To know that you are touching somebody health-wise makes it worthwhile. When you struggle every day of the week, every day you get up and you go out and you take care of these birds, it's very satisfying, it's very gratifying, to know that you're meeting the needs of not just myself, but other people.